Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this second episode of this preview of Total War Saga, Troy, given to me courtesy of Creative Assembly. So Menelaus is an epic hero. He has a bunch of battle effects. He gives plus 6% melee defense to all units, 2% more hero hit points, 20% more rage, which is his ability to use his special abilities during battle. He gains plus 4 melee defense for hero, plus 20 morale, and also increased battle speed. And then his campaign effects: Blessed Leader's ability, -2 turns to recover for heroes when they are wounded. Oh, interesting. 5% faster campaign movement, plus 4 influence over a province, -20% to attrition from desertion for this army, 22% to morale for all units in this army, and then also plus 5 hero influence for this province. He begins as a level 1 with the War God's Call, which we saw last time, and now we need to make a choice between the Dread of Aries or the Sultan Battery. So Dread of Aries is a single target morale and stamina debuff, so that will reduce the combat ability of whatever it is we're fighting. And considering we've got the War God's Call, we can basically call an enemy unit over to us and then hit them with the Dread of Aries debuff in order to make them fight a lot worse. The other one that we can get is a Sultan Battery, which will increase our personal armor piercing damage by 40%. Now, as I've stated before, Menelaus isn't really, from what I can tell so far, a fighting hero. He's more of a vanguard, find an enemy, block them type of hero. So I think he just synergizes with the Dread of Aries better. That can then further be upgraded for the Dread of Aries missile vulnerability, which increases a 30% missile resist debuff, or a -25% melee attack debuff on whatever it is that he casts this. I don't know if that costs a point, so you're effectively getting these upgrades instead of the next tier. Haven't actually got that far before, so we'll have to find out together. But in the meantime, we're going to take the Dread of Aries, so that would be good. We also have equipment. So he's currently got Menelaus' shield, which gives him the 12% extra morale and also the melee defense. He can have a hand weapon, a mount, and then various followers. So he's got Menelaus' belt, which is even more morale, so his units just don't run. And then he's also got the Blessed Leader's ability. So there's a fair amount of customization that will be available to him. We could change our stance to encamp. Oh, not this turn, so I think we're just going to move our full distance. See, what I'm thinking here is Etis is actually a ruin right now. So this is one of the places where we could hit the colonize button. This would cost us 300 wood out of the 1,000 that we have, 500 of our food, and 100 of our stone. However, Etis is actually on the way to the final province in this region. So if we take a look at this, we currently own Sparta, we currently own Otlion. However, Etis and Cythera we don't. Cythera is an enemy. We are at war with them, so we do need to conquer it. And Etis is on the way. So I don't think that this is going to be a good candidate for our colonize ability. We're just going to march on up. We could force march this. I don't really see any reason not to, because there shouldn't be any enemies in Etis. It's a ruin. And this will allow us to get just that tiny bit closer. Okay, so let's head over to Sparta and take a look at the buildings. If we right click on one of the buttons, we bring up the building overview. And this shows us all of the buildings that we can get here in Sparta. And if we go to one of the, if we close this and then go to Altleon, we can see all the buildings available in Altleon as well. But Sparta right now is the biggest interest. It is a walled city, which gives it extra growth, happiness, influence over adjacent, increases the siege ability, and gives us 3 building slots. So the more that we upgrade the central building, the more building slots we will unlock. We are currently gaining or losing 2 happiness because of taxes, so we probably want to do something about that. We also have Achaean influence, which is currently at 85%, but it is going down slowly. Not sure why. I guess one of the people near us is reducing its strength or something like that. We can also see what we're producing. So this province is producing 61 food and 28 stone, because Otlion is actually a stone mine. That's its like village type. However, we're producing a lot more resources than just that because of various bonuses. So our faction provides us with 1,500 just as a starting amount. However, our units and our characters cost us a significant amount of that. And then we also have a royal decree. The royal decrees are basically technology, and we will take a look at that in just a moment. Wood, we are getting 700 because of our faction. Stone, we don't get any. So wood and food, you start with a base level just so you can recruit and maintain units. However, the more advanced resources, which is gold, bronze and stone, you don't just get a natural increase. Okay, so that is something we need to bear in mind. So right now it is saying that we could upgrade the mud brick houses, which is over here, and would effectively increase the amount of growth. It would cost us 60 stone and 750 wood. That is a lot of wood. Or we could go over to Otleon and maybe build something else. So Otleon is a stone mine. And one of the cool things about the stone mine is it actually provides an additional building slot. So you'll see here that Cythera, probably also a level 1, only has 1 possible build slot. Whereas we have 4. And I think that's because of the stone mine. Or maybe it's because Cythera is not a port. Does the port give you an extra slot? Possibly. The other thing I want to say, and I'm very happy to say this, ports in this don't seem completely useless. I know, crazy. It provides food, 60, which is actually a fair amount. Increases all resources produced in this province by 2%. And considering this is a stone mine, that's going to be pretty good because this is going to be a significant source of stone. It will increase the growth. It means that besieged armies can run away. That's a pretty big deal. And will also increase the line of sight in this region. So Sparta is not a port, which means that if an army is stuck in Sparta and you don't want to fight, it's dead. You can't run. However, in Otleon, you can just run away by sea, which is actually a really cool kind of thing you can do. I quite like that. What else can we get? We can get stone miner tents, which will increase our stone production even further. And we can see it has a high influence bonus. So the high influence bonus is basically unlocked as long as you've got at least 60 influence in a province. So because we have 85, we would get that bonus, which means that the stone miners tents are effectively going to produce 45 stone instead of just the 20. We can get builder's quarters, which is even more stone. However, we will lose some influence, but it will reduce the build time cost. Build time, not cost, but just build time. And ore smelter, which will provide us with more resources in this province, but will cost us some happiness. And then the small mountain Apoikia, which will give us even more stone. However, it's very expensive. Very, very expensive. And then finally there's the Stonemasons Lodge, which will massively decrease the amount of growth, but also massively increase the amount of stone we can produce. So there is a lot of stone production possible in this place, and we are limited to just 4 buildings, so we will need to take that into account. The other thing that we need to consider is happiness. Right now we are losing happiness, and we would need to build a altar to get happiness, or we can get the... saw it previously and I can't remember what it was called. It's not the food warehouse, not lumber. Vineyard! We could get a vineyard, which would also increase happiness, and this would cost us just some wood. It's actually a relatively cheap building. Chieftain's Hall gives us influence, mud brick houses is the growth, and then we also have a bunch of different choices for temples, which will influence the amount of favour that we have got with the various gods and goddesses. So we can get the altar of Hera, which will give us additional growth, and I'm just going to point out the things which they do differently. It's growth and morale for units recruited here. Zeus is influence and favour. Oh no, favour's always there. Construction cost. It's influence and construction cost reduction. Aries is melee attack for all units recruited in this province. Apollo, recruitment cost of missile units and rank of agents. So one thing which is back with this game, agents are back. and we will talk about those in just a moment. Then we've also got melee defense for all units in this region, and recruit rank for all heroes with Athena. Poseidon, plus 8% campaign movement range for own armies starting in this province, and turn construction time is reduced. And then finally we've got Aphrodite, which is plus 2% casualty replenishment, plus 1 happiness, and everything else the same. I don't think I want to get a temple just yet, because I do actually want to be saving at least some of the wood for next turn. The other possibilities is an encampment. In fact, Sparta has a couple more. So we can get the altar, which will increase happiness, will increase the use's influence or favour, and it will also reduce the recruitment time for all call to arms units recruited in this province. I wonder if the time to recruit depends on how far away those units are, because the only units I've seen so far just take 2 turns, and regular units are just 1. Then the alternative, and these are either or, you can't have both, is the foreign encampment, which will increase the recruit rank for all envoys in this province, will reduce the recruitment cost by 10% for call to arms. It will give you plus 1 local recruitment capacity. Interesting. Practice range gives us access to light bowmen. The Victoria gives us gives enemies less movement and increases our experience gain. A Boia increases recruit rank and missile damage. That's interesting. And also gives us access to renowned bowmen. The guardhouse is additional garrisons, but it will cost us happiness. Cryo Square, recruit cost of heroes down, upkeep cost of units down, construction cost down. Okay, I'm spending too long on this. I don't want to go through absolutely every single bonus because, again, time limits. So instead, I think I'm going to start building something like the stone miners tents. Yeah, because this is our capital, so I'm expecting that we'll have a very high influence pretty much throughout. Although the large mountain would get us even more. And for that we would just... we need to save up a lot of stone for this. So we could probably switch out the small miners tents for the small mountain eventually. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and build this. Okay, next. Royal Decrees. These are the technologies, and they are split into various places. So first of all, we have like food technology, which is the Royal Granaries. This is why we're gaining 280 food per turn from having that decree. We're getting bronze, which is from this decree. Then we can get gold upgrades, stone upgrades, and wood upgrades. We are going to take a look at gold, because currently we have no income whatsoever, and having gold I think will be quite useful, and this just gives us a base income. Duty demands that we honour the gods and our heroes with offerings of gold, expand the royal treasury at once. So we'll go ahead and build that. Okay, anything else I need to do this turn? Diplomacy. We'll take a quick look at diplomacy. So we're going to sort this by our influence with other people. So currently we're looking in just the south of Greece, because that's basically all we have vision of. Mycenae, over here, very friendly to us. We do have a defensive alliance with them. And we have got positive relations with people like Knossos, Pylos, Argos, Ithaca, etc. Non-aggression and military access. I wonder if we can do something with Knossos, who are in Crete. Yeah, let's see if we can get an agreement with Knossos. So we're going to right-click on them.
Yes,
or double-click, here we go.
Talk.
So, non-aggression pact. They would favour it. Military access, they're neither for or against. Defensive alliance, we would have to pay them a little bit. This is basically saying how much we would need to offer in exchange. So, if we wanted the defensive alliance with Knossos, then we would need to offer some gold or some wood or an ancillary or something like that. However, the non-aggression pact they would quite happily take just for itself, and the military access we're going to add. So diplomatic treaty, this gives us a plus 5.6, so we could potentially get them to pay us. How do I do that? Do I click on these? No. I don't know how I get them to throw other things in. Barter agreement. Here we go. A one-time offer in the exchange of resources. What do you have? So you're not interested in selling food? Or gaining food? Probably gaining food. Okay, so you want gold, bronze, stone, you're neutral on wood, and you don't want, or you would sell food. So let's see if we can tell you to increase food. Can I increase this faster? No. So you would give me 15 units of food in order for this to happen. I will accept that.
Yes. Because
food we can put to use, getting new armies later on. Okay, so we have now got a non-aggression pact and military access through Knossos. We're going to exit this negotiation, and we're going to open another one. We'll just get an agreement with 1 or 2 factions. Just to say that we have. Is there anybody else? Salamis. Because remember, the more defensive alliances and alliances we have with people, the more unit types we unlock. So it's good to have friends as Menelaus. At least in this area. Over here in Troy, not so much. Vengeance! Alright, so Salamis, can double click on you. You want non-aggression pact. I'm going to request military access, and I will give you a tiny bit of food. No, not food. Stone, because we're actually going to be producing stone. Really? You don't want stone? Even selling you 100 stone, you're not interested. Wow, okay. No military access then. We'll just take the non-aggression pact. I will demand... Whoa, okay, gold, very valuable. Bronze? A bronze and a tiny bit of food. That'll do. Off we go. And hopefully our relations with them will improve over time. How do I just... I'll just press escape. And then Pythia. We're also going to do a deal with Pythia.
We could talk? Yes. Why not?
Oh, Pythia's Achilles. Oh, hello. I didn't even realise that. Cool. So we're going to get a non-aggression pact with them. We're going to demand bronze. Hang on. This doesn't feel right. Oh, military access. Okay. That's still positive. And now we can demand a bit of bronze. And you seem to have quite a lot of bronze, or you're just not very good at negotiating. I'll take 20 bronze, sure.
Turns out it was worth talking.
This time. Alright, so we've done a little bit of diplomacy. We've seen a little bit of the bartering system there. And we're going to go ahead and end turn. And then we're going to take Etis and march on towards the town to the south, whose name I've already forgotten.
Brute strength alone will not win this war. Issue a decree ordering your finest minds to research new methods of warfare, lest others overtake you.
Issue a royal decree. Your people are eager to follow your orders, for it is through your wisdom that they will flourish. Issue a royal decree and they will be put to work. Available decrees will be viewed in the royal decrees area. So we've already issued one. We just need to wait for it to actually be researched. We need it to be put in place. There we go. And then at that point we'll get the bonuses.
Stalwart and true.
So before we do this, colonize again. 300 wood, 500 food, 100 stone. And if we actually make the journey to Etis, it'll cost us 469 food, 281 wood and 93 stone. That is definitely cheaper. We're going to go ahead and do this. Now the other thing I should mention is Menelaus has another special ability, which is it doesn't cost him troops to colonize. So ordinarily if you colonize like this you would lose a share of your army, which basically offsets some of the cost. That never happens for us. We always just take the city. So Menelaus, very good at making use of raised settlements. And this is also a food settlement. So whereas the one that we owned already, Otlion, is stone, this one's food. I wonder if that's the same for all of them. Because this one's wood. No, it can't be, because there's also going to be bronze and gold. So yeah, different provinces do different things. Right, so Menelaus is recovering some health. And we could also really do with recruiting some people. And this shows you the call to arms system. So in the top line, we have the call to arms, where we can basically hire in 3 slots worth of people, just like the global recruitment in Warhammer. And then we have the local recruitment, which is the guys that we can get here. So for example, we can get the Laconian militia, Laconian axes, spearmen, regular spearmen, and the Achaean slingers. Further to that, we could also get militia, which are clubmen, which we don't have access to otherwise. Young spears, which are very quick spearmen. Yeah, they're 9 faster. Regular spears, which we already have access to. I don't know why it displays the units that we already have access to up here. Skirmishers, which we don't have. And then slingers, but slingers cost bronze, so we cannot, unfortunately, get... sorry, not slingers, the clubmen. It also shows us which nation would give us access to those units. The other place we can see that is here, the call to arms. We can see the offered units in this box down here in the bottom left, and it will show us what we could potentially get because we are allied to Mycenae. As we get other alliances with other nations, the offered units box down here would basically grow bigger, and we would get more options to take. We also have the Spartan colonies. Oh! Shows which settlements are available to colonize at a distance. Yeah, I don't need the overlay. We can actually see some of these, so we can actually see out to sea. We could take over an outpost in Crete. I didn't notice the screen last time. This is interesting. So we could go for Kizamos. We can't colonize it right now, probably because of cost. Yeah, we don't quite have enough stone. Food, we have loads of. Wood, we have some of. If we gained more stone, we could basically colonize ahead of ourselves and have an outpost in place by the time our armies arrived. Or we can just sail over there. That would be fine too, because we definitely need to spend a bunch of resources on recruitment. And right now I want spearmen. I just want to have a more solid front line, because that's definitely what we're lacking. Like, these 3 are technically skirmishers. This guy doesn't have a shield, so he's kind of vulnerable to archer fire. We only have 1 slinger, so we are going to want some more of those in the future. And then the spearmen. What we could do is hire one of these slingers. They are more expensive. It's like twice the cost. 706 food versus 360. I think I'm just going to go ahead and wait. But having access to other units from this, especially when the other factions start to unlock higher tier units, is going to be super powerful. And it's also going to make Sparta really, 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 really pragmatic and flexible. Which is very interesting. Like, I've never seen a mechanic like this in a Total War game. Alright, onwards. End turn, we'll get our production in progress, and then we're either going to spend a turn or maybe another.
The development of your towns and cities, for many benefits accrue from construction at home. Put your carpenters and stonemasons to work.
Yes, Homer, thank you. Buildings constructed in your cities grant benefits to your faction. More buildings will aid with the development of your kingdom, and with war efforts abroad, it only remains to choose what to construct. Buildings may be constructed in selected settlements in the province overview panel. Learn more about building construction.
No kingdom flourishes and endures through military conquest alone. Grow and maintain your settlements through construction. Their resources can then be harnessed to serve the war effort.
Developing a settlement increases the number of buildings that may be constructed within it. Expanding your facilities in this way will greatly improve your ability to defend your borders at home and wage war abroad. A settlement may be developed by upgrading the first building within it, shown on the province overview panel. Growth points earned in the province over time must be spent in order to do this.
Control of every settlement in a province will give you complete dominion over all who live there. Expand your holdings and bring more of the Aegean under your heel.
Okay, so we need to maintain control of 1 province, either direct ownership or through vassals. We currently have 0. However, once we've taken Cythera, that's going to be 1 province. So each of these is a region, the whole lot is a province. Okay, so you're going to need probably another turn just to heal up a bit more. That's also going to give us another turn to recruit some more troops, because I do definitely feel like we need that. I'm going to go for 2 more spears and 1 more slinger. That should give us a really solid front line. Yeah, I like that. And then next turn, we'll begin marching on Cythera. And now that I have a better idea of exactly what resources we've been spending, Etis needs upgrading. It's a ruin right now. So let's go ahead and upgrade that to a farming village. That's going to use a chunk of our wood. We could also... Oh no, we can't afford the boat stands. Build another thing in Sparta. Yeah, I think I want to try and build something else in Sparta. We could get the stone houses, which would increase the growth. So right now I kind of want to save a bit of stone. The other one I am tempted by is the vineyard. Although right now happiness is actually positive. Mostly because of the military presence, which isn't always going to be there. The reason I'm kind of hesitating on the construction of the vineyard is because it maximum level 3, and that's the same level as these guys become. So we could probably do better to stick it in Etis or Cythera than in Sparta. In fact, Etis we have access to more farming stuff with the same modifiers and penalties as previously. So 3 slots, 5 choices effectively for farming. If we wanted to focus farming here, we don't have to. Smaller Poika, very expensive. Interesting. Can't afford a temple anymore. I don't really want to get any of the low tier stuff. What I'd really like to do is get, for example, the practice range, which we could potentially afford next turn. You know what? We'll wait a turn. This is fine. Okay.
King Menelaus.
You're recruiting, and that's all good. Anyway, that's going to have to be it for this session. So thank you very much for watching. I do hope you're enjoying this so far. If you are, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you get notifications when new videos come online. There is one more left in this preview series. Unfortunately, like I said, I've only got 90 minutes to record this whole session, or rather I can only put up 90 minutes worth of footage. What I'm probably doing here is I'm going to try and show you in a more in-depth like introduction thing, and then with the next campaign I will... No, I can't. I physically don't have time to record this stuff, unfortunately. It's coming at the time when I'm doing the Kaiserreich Weekly tournament, and we only have a limited amount of time with the preview before they just turn it off. So I'm doing what I can. So next episode we're going to go and attack Cythera, and then I'm going to have to put some time aside to start recording the next campaign. But like I said, we only have 90 minutes. And my time is up. So thank you very much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed this. If you have any questions, then please do check out the comments below, or you can head over to our Discord, which you can find linked in the description. I also have a Twitch, which is where I am usually active. You can find that at twitch.tv/MordredViking. That's it for me for now. Come back for the next one, and we'll go and fight another battle against Cythera. Until then, goodbye.